Okay, so now we get to the big guy locks and the Slick Nic props. So, big guy, over the course of the playoffs, you went an impressive 8-4.
Did I? Oh,
8-4 across the entire NFL playoffs. If you rolled with the big guy, that means you doubled your money. This Sunday, we have the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. They match up in Super Bowl 58. The Niners are favored by 2. Vegas keeps betting against Patrick Mahomes. Niners favored by 2. I saw it get up to 2.5 at one point. It's been moving a little bit here and there. What are you thinking? Super Bowl 58, Niners -2 against the Chiefs.
the Niners are a very talented team, but I think I got to go with the Chiefs plus the points, simply because I'm not going to bet against Mahomes again. I bet against him with our boy Lamar. Lamar got done, so I think I'm going to stick with Mahomes, and I think Andy Reid figures it out. That said, man, I mean, listen, they got to be able to stop the run. If they can stop the run and slow down McCaffrey, they have a really good chance. I think San Francisco is going to have a tough time with Pacheco. They were not doing well against the run with Detroit, and for some reason, Detroit went away from the run in the second half. But I think Andy Reid sees that and knows that. Andy Reid's an old offensive line coach. He's going to be coaching up that run game, man, against those guys when he sees that video of that Detroit game. I think I got to take Frisco. I mean, I think I got to take the Chiefs plus the points.
Okay. Okay. Chiefs +2. And now time for the Slick Nick props. Before we get first and foremost, I like the under in this game. The under right now, the over under is sitting at 47.5. And I think that when you have two really good coaching staffs, you're going to end up getting somewhat of a stalemate. I was really impressed with what the Chiefs did last year. I mean, last week they totally switched up their entire defensive game plan. Really, really confused Baltimore. You know that San Francisco, both on the offense and the defensive side, they're going to come in there schemed up with some new wrinkles. And I think that what we're going to see is we're just going to see a little bit of a stalemate overall. And I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. Now, the first prop that I really, really like, I like Rashee Rice for the first touchdown score. It's at +950. First
Wow.
touchdown is something that I always bet on in the Super Bowl. I usually try to take at least one from each team. Sometimes I take more than one. Obviously, your Kelseys, your Pachecos, they're going to be, coming in at not as great of odds. And I like to take somebody who, they're not exactly the sexy pick, and therefore that's why they get a little bit better odds. It's just a really cool thing to root for. I hit it a few years ago with Gronk when he was when they were playing in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. And as he's lining up and going in, I'm like, oh, there's Gronk, and he throws the ball into the corner. And I'm like, and it's just a very fun thing to root for. And I think that Rashee Rice first touchdown +950 +950. You just got to sprinkle a little bit on there, and you could feel like you're having a big win. Start off the game right. You and I,
Love it.
we didn't talk about this before, but we're on the same page because I like a big day from Pacheco. Okay. The Niners, they gave up 182 rushing yards last week against the Lions. Against the Packers, they gave up 136. So that is something that has been a weakness for them. Pacheco, he's been getting going. He's had a good playoff run. He had a good season. I see him having a big day. His first touchdown is +700. I like the alternate rushing yards over 74.5 at +135. Okay,
Over
60.
74 and a half for Pacheco.
Yes, over 74.5 yards +135. And that's the alternate rushing yard because I think the over under is around like 64, something like that. You bump that up to over 74.5 and you're getting +30, 135. I like that one a lot as well.
Yeah, so what are you saying that you lay 100 to win 135? I like the longer odds on the Rashee Rice thing a little better, personally.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a guy getting 75 yards and a guy scoring the first touchdown of the game, obviously, you're going to get much better odds on
Right.
the less likely thing. With Mahomes, I like over 26.5 rushing yards for him. That's only
Yes.
at minus 115. That's what the over under is set on right now. And I think that's like 2 third down scampers right there, you know. So I love that one right there, over 26.5. I was surprised to see that one was so low.
Yeah.
And then I like the Ayuk minus 115 over 59.5.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like Ayuk. The thing about Ayuk is I think he's super underrated. Okay. And I just think that he has a chance to be the guy who has a couple big plays. You know, somebody's going to have to get some receiving yards. Obviously, you're going to be looking at Debo. Obviously, you're going to be looking at Kittle. I could just see Ayuk being a guy who has a couple big plays and, gets to that over 59.5 number right there.
Yeah, he might do that on one catch. Come on, that you're talking about that Frisco offense. They could definitely have a 60, 70-yard touchdown. So I don't think that's outrageous, but I still like that Rasheed Rice most of all.
Okay, and then last but not least, I like my guy Travis Kelce as a Super Bowl MVP plus 1200. And the reason that I like that is I can see this game being one where, like I said before, the offenses don't really, it's not a shootout, it's a lower scoring game, and it ends up being a game at the end where Mahomes has a decent game, but he doesn't have like really eye-popping stats, especially with, me thinking there's going to be a lot of running game. And if that happens, and then Kelsey ends up having one of those games where he's got 8 catches for 120 yards and a tutty or something like that. And listen, I'm sorry, but the Taylor Swift effect is in there as well. Okay. So, the whole thing with him getting the MVP trophy and, them, I think that I don't know if that's necessarily 100% going to play a factor, but they show her enough during games. They've obviously realized that her Q rating or whatever is, feeding the NFL. And if it's close, I could see Kelsey winning. And like I said, that scenario of Mahomes not having a huge statistical game, but Kelsey still having a decent one, plus 1200. I like to sprinkle a little something on that as well.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like Kelsey. Because he's that player. He's that dude. And, listen, if you're just looking at, a fairy tale ending, that would be a great ending to it. I don't think there is some sort of fix in because of the Taylor Swift effect where he's somehow going to get the MVP for that. I think he has a chance of being a legitimate, contender for that award. And yeah, I like that. Plus nine, how much? Plus how
Plus
much?
plus 1200.
Oh yeah, that's a score. Yeah, that's a good bet. That
Uh,
and the Ayuk. And the Reed.
Yeah, yeah,
She right.
Rasheed
Rice.
Rice. Yes, yes. Yeah. I listen. I could see it happening. A tight end winning MVP is extremely unlikely. And that's why it's at the number that it is.
That
But
guy.
with everything we just laid out, I think there's a possibility.
I like it.